I'm Alex Cheparev, and welcome to Crashing Maya. Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about UVs. I made a couple other videos about UVs, but what I want to do is I want to UV this character. This is a Kidrobot character like a blank that I modeled, and I want to make this available for download, so I'll provide a link for it, and then you guys can download it and follow along. It's going to be a pretty simple tutorial, and we'll be using Maya 2015. Maya 2015 has a lot of new UV tools that we'll be using, so watch and enjoy. So first thing when you start, when you're working with UVs, you want to open the UV texture editor, which is of course this guy right here. The problem is it will block your view, so what we want to do is we're going to go into panels on our viewport. I'm going to go into layouts. I'm going to do two panes side by side, and then on this side I'm going to go to panels. Actually, I want to put perspective on this side, and on this side I'm going to go to panel and find the UV texture editor. This will let me select parts, and they'll appear in my UV texture editor. So let's start. Now, the easiest way to do it, the first thing you want to do is you want to do an automatic map. So if you go to create UVs and just do automatic mapping, Maya will automatically project from different angles, and you should get something that looks like this. If you press this button right here, this is the toggle shaded UV display. This will show your UV shells, and if they're blue, it's good. If they're purple, there's some overlap, and if they're red, it means they're flipped. So right now everything's blue, which is good, but this is really not useful for us. So let's start cutting. The way I like to work, I'm going to just isolate this for now. And what I like to do is, once I do the automatic map, you have to do automatic map first, and then this will work. You want to first select all of your, I'm going to turn symmetry off because it might screw us up. So select all the parts that will be separate. So the ears will have to be separate. So I'm selecting an edge loop where they can separate easily. And then you want to create a seam that you can unwrap. So if you're not sure what I mean by unwrapping, or if you know what unwrapping is but don't know how to proceed, think about clothes. If you were to take your clothes and cut them at the seams and lay them out flat on the ground, this is what we do with UVs. We're doing the same thing. We're trying to take this character, cut him up, and lie him flat on the ground so that we can paint on him. And we're trying to do it with as few seams as possible, and keep it also as flat as possible. So basically trying to do as few seams but keeping it flat. So if you use too many seams, then you have too many things you have to worry about when you're painting, and if you have too few seams, then there's going to be a lot of stretching. So I'm going to start from here and shift double click this edge, and this will create a loop. So one more time, I'm going to hold shift click here. I'm holding shift because I'm adding to the selection we already have, and then I'm going to shift double click this edge, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm following this loop to here, and this will create this loop for us. And then I'm going to just shift and double click this loop, and then deselect, basically starting from the hairline. So hold control and drag a selection, and then just below the chin. This will put a seam down the back like this, but keep the face pretty clear for texturing. So now what we need to do is go into our UV view, and you navigate the same way you do in a viewport, and we're going to use the scissor tool. I'm going to click it a couple times. Sometimes once, if you click it once, it doesn't work. I don't know why, but I've seen that happen. So just click it a couple times. It's not going to hurt. And then in here, make sure you're in edge mode. Press W to make sure you're in the move tool, because if you're on a different tool, you might not be able to select UVs or edges. And then I'm going to hold shift and drag a selection over everything. This will select everything except the seams that we just cut. You can see that. And now we can do move and sew, which is this button here. So it will do this, and things will be flipped over. This red or purple means that it's flipping and overlapping. That's no big deal. I'm going to right click, go to UV, select everything, Then go to polygons. I'm going to open the options for unfold. I'm just going to reset them. And then click apply. There we go. So now the head is laid out. So now let's rotate it. I'm going to rotate the different parts so that they make sense. And I'll explain what that means. Basically, this is the top of the ear. So I want my UVs to face that way as well. I'm going to place them next to each other. I also want to make sure that I'm looking at the front. The left ear is on this side, the right ear is on that side. So when I'm painting, things make sense. Now if I select this ear hole, see that's on the right side. So that means this needs to be rotated. So I'm going to select the whole shell, you just select a section of it, hold Control, right click to shell. You can also use shell selection and actually select a shell like this, which also works, and then click the rotate button in here, rotate left, rotate right, to rotate. So now this is the left side and this is the right side. And then we're going to place it right there. I'm going to move it out of the way because we're going to do other things here, so I don't want to obstruct my view. Now when you're previewing, you can click this checker box, which will give you a press 6 in here in the viewport. Why isn't it showing? Viewport 2.0. Make sure you're in viewport 2.0, and if you press 6 in here, we can see that the checker box, the checkerboard pattern, you can see we can kind of approximate what our texture is going to look like. You can see that looks pretty decent. There's some stretching, but overall it's pretty good. And then we have a seam down the back. We have a seam down the back here, and you can see there's a seam where the ears connect to the head. I'm going to clear history, turn off that. Alright, so that's good. You can also turn on stretch. This shows you if there's any stretching going on. So you can see we have some stretching, but it's okay, we'll live with it. Now let's do the rest. Let's do the body. Same thing when I click this button, which will isolate select. And then when you click it again, it will turn off isolate select. So it just temporarily hides everything and shows you just this. So let's UV this guy. So same thing. Once I did the automatic map already, so now I'm going to go and select where the legs will separate from the body, like that, and also where the foot will separate, the bottom of the foot will separate from the leg, like that. We need a seam for the leg, and the best place to put it is on the inside. So I'm holding shift, clicking this edge, and then going down here and double clicking that one. So it's shift click this edge and then shift double click this one. And sometimes it works well, sometimes it does not. There. Make sure that's deselected. Okay, and now we need to split the body somehow. So first thing is to have a seam around this, because we don't need to see the inside here, and then from down here to up here, down on this side as well. So we're placing the seam on the sides, which also is where you would find the seams on clothes. Alright, that's good. So now back in here, the scissor tool, cut tool. Then I'm gonna make sure I'm in edge mode, press W, shift select, move and sew, and then select everything, go to polygons and unfold. There we go. Okay, so here we have the legs, and where's the bottom? Okay, so that's the bottom. So you want to basically orient things so that they make sense, so it's easy to paint, because you know that's the bottom of the leg, so that's going to be easy to paint. Let's see, is that the back or the front? That's the front, I think. Nope, that's the back. Where's the front? There. So I'm going to flip this over because I want the front to be facing the correct way. And this doesn't matter too much. We'll place that there. And then the bottom doesn't matter too much too. We're not going to see it. And I can place it on this side, I feel like. Yep. There, just get it out of the way. Okay, so that's done. And let's do the arms. So turn off isolate select. I'm going to select one arm, isolate select. And we did the automatic map already, so now I want to select where I'm going to make my cuts. So here, like this, like that. Okay, so that's good. And cut, shift select, and move and cell. Select everything, polygons, unfold. Okay, so then I just want to orient this a little better. Now, if you can't see your manipulator, just plus or minus will scale it. So this is the inside of the hand. That's that other thing. And I'm selecting and then using middle mouse button to move. Okay. So for the other arm, I don't want to do this twice. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to delete the other arm. I'm going to take this one, duplicate it, flip it to the other side, -1, and freeze it, modify freeze. When I do that, this turns red. That means the UVs are flipped. So I'm going to select them and then use this button, which is flip selected UVs. And then if I select this arm again, I can take and align them like that. So now I have the left arm and the right arm UV'd. Okay, so now let's turn off isolate select. And then if we select everything, we can see there's the head, the body, the arms. Now we need to make sure everything's scaled to the right scale. So you can see the body is way too small, actually or too big. So let's see. Okay. And what we're looking for is that the scale of the checkerboard is similar on each part. Okay, and then this. Okay, so we definitely need to scale that. Okay, that's good enough. So when that's done, I'm going to turn this off, and now we can start arranging them in our tile here. So I'm going to place this here, and now we need to figure out how to place this better. So if I place the body here like this, I'm going to then select these two and actually place them like that below. And then the arms will go down here. There. And then we can scale everything together. You can also align them like this. You can go to polygons and click normalize. Open the options. We want to do it collectively and preserve aspect ratio. And it doesn't work on multiple objects, so maybe I'll fix it in the next release of Maya. So let's do it by hand. And the reason I'm going to leave these outside is because I can see that I have all of the space left over. So I'm going to use that. And you want it to be inside this box, the 0 to 1 box. So we can place this here. Actually, I feel like maybe we'll add a little more space, UV space to the arms. It doesn't really matter. This is good. Okay. Okay, so the UVs are done. If we take a look, they look like that. So now we need to get these UVs into Photoshop so you can start texturing. So select everything, press 1, select everything, and then 1 will take you out of preview mode. Go to polygons, UV snapshot, and here let's set a size. So let's do 2048. I'm going to save this as a PNG and click browse and set it into a source images folder. I'm going to call this let's see, Kidrobot underscore UVs. That's good. Click save, and then you have to click OK. If you click close, it will not save, so make sure you click OK. And now if you look down here, this is telling you where Maya saved your image, so always keep an eye out for in this window. So let me open up Photoshop, one sec. Okay. Oops. I'm gonna click File, Open. And just paste the path. Oops. There we go. When you first open it, you will see that there is no, it's hard to see because there's no background. So I'm going to make a new layer, drop it down here, fill it with some neutral color, and there's my UVs. And then we can start texturing. And basically I'm going to just do this, make a new layer, going to make an eye, let's do that stroke, let's do 20. Delete this. Okay, and then let's just make a quick mouth. So let's make a, what happened to our layers? Okay, so let's make a new layer. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let's give it some color for the background. And you want to make sure to uncheck this. And I'm going to save as, source images. I'm going to save as a PNG. I'm going to call this Kidrobot color version 001. Click save. Back in Maya, select everything, right click, assign new material. We'll pick a blend. Click the checkerboard for next to color. Click File. Click the folder icon and find the color. There it is. Let's see. Oops. And we can change the value on the shader a little bit. There. So also you can start your texturing in Maya and then go into Photoshop to finish if you want. So we're going to do, we're going to assign a new material, just make a Lambert. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the spacebar, go to texturing, and open up the 3D Paint tool little box here, the options for it. So then when you mouse over your character, you'll see a big X next to it. That's because we don't have a file texture associated with this material. So we're going to go into File Textures, click Assign Material. I'm going to set it to 2048. I'm going to go into the image format, set it to PNG, click Assign. Now you can see it's not X'd out anymore. I'm going to go to Stroke and turn on Reflection. That way I have both sides. And let's start work. So I'm going to go into Flood first and fill it with some with a color that I want to set. So let's try some maybe green. Now let's do orange. Okay, click Flood Paint. So now our guy is orange, and then we can start. Click the brush here, pick a color, and pick the kind of brush you want. Soft, really soft, or if you want a really solid brush. And if you hold B and left click and drag, you can set your brush size. And you can start drawing. Now, what I want to do is I want to turn off reflection actually, so I can draw separately. And first I'm going to do this. I want to make some eyes. Oops, wrong place. That. Then pick black and outline it. Now you don't have to be perfect with this. You can use this just as a way to get your file into Photoshop. Alright, so when you're done, make sure that you save your texture, and to do that, in the tool, you scroll down to where you assign the texture and just click Save. And when you do that, you will also see that it gives you a path where it saved it. So you can copy that, and then when you go back to Photoshop, go to File, Open, and you'll just paste the path. And there it is. So then here you can go in and clean this up, make it better, and then open it back in Maya. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to make this file available so you guys can download and follow UVing. This is really simple, I know, but it's if you've never UV'd before, this is a good start. So check in the description for the download and subscribe and like. Thank you.